morning. It's Friday, May 15th, 2020. My name is Terry Morgan, and we're here to practice Wudang Qigong. I talked yesterday about transforming energy. So yesterday, BS made me very upset, and I talked about that and how that can be transformed into something productive. One of the foundation elements in Qigong practice generally is traditional Chinese philosophy and Taoist philosophy. That's where this comes from. My particular view is that if you do not understand where the art that you are practicing comes from, you can't practice the art. Doesn't mean you have to agree with everything that was part of how the art was developed. I practice Wudang sword. Sword arts were not developed solely for personal practice. They weren't. None of the weapons arts were developed solely for personal practice. That's what I do with them, but that's not where they came from. And if I ignore where they came from, then not only am I never going to be able to do what I'm trying to do because I've ignored the history. I disrespected the history. I disrespected the teachers that came before. And that's no good. That's absolutely no good. So knowing where the art came from, knowing what the foundations are, then taking that and developing it for your own practice. Yes. Because that's a living art. Right? But you can't ignore what came before. And you can't disrespect it. Not and expect to achieve anything. Because at the end of the day, and I'm preaching a little bit now, but at the end of the day, whatever you disrespect is part of you. So as you're disrespecting whatever that is, you're disrespecting yourself. And you can't grow with that. You can't go anywhere with that. You have to start by respecting yourself, respect others, respect your teacher, and respect the history. Then you can grow. Then you become a living part of the history. And that's really cool. So, talking about history, I'm going to put my cup down for a second. I need to get a little table over here where I can put my cup down. I brought some things in this morning because I'm talking, and then we're going to go on and practice. But I mentioned this idea of the old Taoists, and I'm going to put all this up on the post here. But I mentioned the idea of the Taoists and you know, back in medieval times. We're going back in 1200, 1300 AD and before. So we're not talking about modern history here, folks. So we go way back. Okay, we go back to 3000 BC. I'm not going there today, but there is the Yellow Emperor's Book of, and it goes back to, I think it's 2000 BC. So, ancient culture, it's old. This one is a source book in Chinese philosophy. Mencius, Confucius, Lao Tzu, pretty much everybody, and some folks that you haven't heard of are in here. This is more of a folk tale, Seven Taoist Masters. It's a story about how they transformed themselves and how they transformed other people. And there's a lot more to it, but that transformation idea is there. Maybe appearing to be someone else, showing up, I'm a poor beggar, and finding out who has the heart. Who's willing to help a poor beggar? Because the person who's willing to help a poor beggar has got a good heart. The person who's willing to help the fine, fancy prince, maybe not so much. Okay, so then we have Cultivating Stillness, which is another, the subtitle, The Taoist Manual for Transforming Body and Mind. Okay? This idea of being still, of being quiet, is something that I have emphasized again and again in Qigong practice and in the fundamentals for Tai Chi practice. It is fundamental for all of the internal arts and many of the external arts as well. It's practiced in a different way, but it's there. If you cannot be still, how can you distinguish between stillness and movement? You have it is a skill, it is an art to be able to do this. It takes practice. The last one is Taoist mystical philosophy. Okay, and in several of these books, which I'm going to produce some videos talking about some of these things, there is the concept of this transformation. The Taoist alchemists were in search of the golden pill, the elixir of immortality. Well, in fact, the elixir of immortality that we have, we keep with us, it's the saliva that we can produce, that elixir. So if your body is relaxed, if you're not right now, if your mouth is closed, and you are circulating the qi, at least through the small heavenly circle, as you relax and breathe, you will find that there will be more saliva produced in your mouth. It's physiology. Somebody else can explain it, not me. It happens. So, in medieval times, I'm going back, let's go way back to, the 12th century, 13th century, something like that. There were folks with big kettles trying to cook up this elixir of immortality. Shakespeare has one in his Macbeth. The three witches stir in the cauldron. They're looking for making an elixir. They're making a potion, and that was one of the goals, was to make this elixir of immortality, transform mortal to immortal. This body is 65 years old. I'm good for a couple more years, but there's going to be a time. It's okay. The other thing that the Taoists were looking for was a golden pill. And yes, they did try to make one. There's a history in that of actually trying to make the golden pill that you could take and swallow and it would make you immortal. Yeah, not so much. The best analogy that we have is that notion of the sea of chi in the lower Tantian. That, in fact, is the golden pill. That the chi hai, the sea of chi, the lower Tantian, is the golden pill that brings the chi through the body and creates health, longevity, long life, good working, keeps the body in good working condition, right? So this is the part of the philosophy behind what we're practicing. I wanted to introduce it this morning because I was kind of windy yesterday, and there is a large body of work that is focused on this idea of transformation. That you take one thing, that you take an idea, that you take an emotion, that you take a thought, and you use that, transform it into something else. So that concept is with us throughout human history. Every storyteller has taken some idea and transformed it into something else. So, enough of my ramblings. I'm going to review really quickly the 4 sets that we're going to practice today. So we have the first 8 of our Wudang Qigong sets. We practiced 4 yesterday. So the 5th set is very similar to what we do in the opening of Wudang Tai Chi. Our 6th set goes to both sides. This is push. 7, we have a turning palm. And we have a cat that wants to go out. She didn't have to wait. Yeah, come on in. That's from Tai Chi, okay? So here we go. Qigong. I got distracted by my cat. All right. 8. All right, so realizing that I have not taught this particular set yet, let's do that. So we start out, excuse me, start out same, right? Breathe in, breathe out. All right, now I'm going to go to my left. So my left hand is going to come underneath. Right hand goes over, hold the ball. Transfer my weight onto my right leg. Little step. So I'm on my toe, picked up my toe, my foot, I'll move my cat in a minute. Picked up my toe, down on the heel. As I transfer the weight forward, the upper hand, there she goes. Upper hand goes down, lower hand goes up. Come back, turn the foot, right? Now I'm going to go to the right. So my right hand needs to come under, left hand over. Hold ball, place the heel, transfer the weight, and pull in, and down. Okay, as you, let's say, two things I want to pay attention to, and then I'm going to turn around and we'll practice this one, and then probably give some tips, and then we'll turn around and we'll practice the other four. All four together. Alright, so with this, as you step, right, so I am here, as I shift my weight, I pick up everything but maybe about 5% of my weight. So I'm on my toe. Where my toe is where my heel goes. Okay, this is not a big step. Wherever my toe is, that's where I put my heel. And then transfer through. Okay? As you pull back on the toe and set the foot. Okay? So I'm here, turn the toe. Wherever the toe was, that's where the heel goes. I went on 45, transfer, pull back, pull the toes. My heel is up. Set, center. Okay. Hands. Palms face each other. The lao bone in both palms should be connected here. And this is a little bit too big. This is about right. Okay? So lower hand, lower tantian, upper hand, middle tantian. A little bit higher is okay, but not up here. Okay? Hold the ball, I'm not going to talk about a lot, but you think literally, I'm holding a ball. That's a pretty big beach ball right there, okay? So think more basketball. Not quite as small as a soccer ball, but it could be. But more basketball, modest beach ball, right? This one is up, this one is down, and they change. And this should also be smooth, as though you've got something here and you're going to pull and stretch. Taffy. The feeling should be elastic, so there's some substance here that it's resistant to pulling. It's not, this is not something that is like the silk pulling exercise in Chen style Tai Chi, silk reeling. It's also not the same as what we want in our breath, which is that long continuous pull. So if you've ever pulled a thread, it has to be at a certain level of tension to actually pull the thread and avoid breaking it. Too much, the thread will break. Too little, the thread won't come out. This is more, I'm really thinking of kind of moist and warm taffy. It's gooey and it's sticky. And it's very sticky. And it stretches. Okay. That's the idea. And sticking is something that we do in Tai Chi. So in this exercise, I really am interested in that sticky. Alright? Let's do it. I'm going to do one more time, facing you. You'll be able to see what I'm doing, and I'm going to go a little fast, so just, play back the movie in your head. So, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Oops. Breathe out. Yep, I do that. It wasn't oops. Okay, so, yeah, I wanted to do this. It's wrong. I should have done this. This is live. This is not, I don't get to go back and repeat this, so I'm going to own it. All right. Turn around. This one exercise we do 3 times. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay? Shift everything to the right side, left hand under, turn on the left toes. Place the left heel, sink and hands separate. Pull and taffy. And come back. On the toes. To the center. Now we're going to the right side, right hand under. Left hand up. Turn on the toes. Place the heel. Transfer the weight through. Keep that taffy sticky. Hold on to it and return. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Press down. Pull up through the crown of the head. Pull up through the back. Raise the heels and drop. Okay. So, this transfer, everything goes together. It starts through the feet, through the foot. So I put my foot down, comes up through the leg, through the hip, through the torso, up the shoulder, out through the arm, and extends through the hand. Okay? No. No. Right? You want this full extension. It's good for the body. It's also very good for your practice. Okay. All right. So I'm going to turn around. We're going to do all 4 sets. Starting with our number 6, push. Feet about shoulder width apart. Relax. And I'm going to do 3 sets of each. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Both hands up. Turn on the toe. Step with the heel. Push. Pull in. Pull in on the toe. Center. Shift the weight. Turn foot. Push. Pull in. And down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Turn. Push. Breathe in. Breathe out. 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 Breathe in. Breathe out, sink. Breathe in. Palms up. Step through. Pull in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Pull in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Step. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Shift the weight right, left hand under, right hand up, hold the ball, turn. Step through, extend, pull in, center, shift right, hold ball, step, transfer, breathe in, breathe out, 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 breathe in, hands down along both sides, stretch up through the crown of the head, raise the heels and drop. Okay, Well, I talked about this being live, and yeah, it is, so here I am. Item number 1. I say we're going to practice 4 exercises, we practice 3. Alligator playing in the water. We didn't do this one. Didn't do this one. Okay, I'm going to work on it next week. The other thing that I have to talk about is my stepping. I realized this as I was practicing, and I'm practicing here too. I realized this as I was practicing, and I'm going to call it out for a couple of reasons. Number 1, because it was wrong, and number 2, because I realized it while I was practicing. That's an important thing to be able to do. When you start out studying, right, you're following along. You may or may not be able to remember what you did. You can follow it. You're learning. You learn how to follow first. Follow me, do what I do. You're following. You watch me, you can do you learn how to do it, you can do what I do. Can you go off and do that on your own after your first lesson? Maybe. You should be able to do something if the lesson is from me. You're not walking at me. Alright, so, there's that. But, can you remember an entire set after one lesson? Not usually. It takes practice, it takes time to build that up. And one of the skills that you learn while you're doing that is being self-critical. You're self-aware. Obviously, you got to be self-aware. What am I doing? Where am I in space? How did I do that move? What am I doing? Being able to get to that point from a beginner level can take a few months. It can. To be able to see what you're doing, understand what you're doing, just to be able to do that is a big step. To then be able to know when you're doing something that's wrong, to feel it. This doesn't feel right. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. That's why I have teacher. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it doesn't feel right. So I need to do, it's got to be something else. What is it? Teacher? Help? That's why I'm here. All right? So the next step is you get to a point where you say, I know what I'm doing. I know that what I'm doing is not correct. I have a principle that I can apply to what I'm doing that will help me to determine whether, for myself, whether or not what I'm doing is correct. Okay? And then the next step is to be able to get to that point where you're going, yeah, okay, blew that. Let me try again. All right. So in our stepping method, we have for push, stepping method, turn on the heel, push. Okay? Just now, I didn't do that. I should have, but I didn't. And we got to here, and I realized, wait a minute, this stepping method is supposed to be different. It's supposed to be different. Principle. It's supposed to be different than what I just did in number 6. What happened? Now, it made sense to keep going, but it also made sense for me to stop and talk about this, because as a practitioner, okay, there's a point where you stop being only a student and you become a practitioner. It's what you do. Okay? I go to class 3 nights a week or 4 nights a week or 5 nights a week or however many days I go to class 3 days a week, and I'm a student while I'm there, and I go home and I practice, and I'm a practitioner. And over the years, I've been at this for 40 years, so over the years, you get to where you go to class less. It's more about being social than it is about going to class. And you practice more because you're practicing to cultivate your own energy, you're practicing to cultivate your own skills, not to be in a group and to demonstrate that you can do as good as everybody else, or to learn more from other people. Because anybody that walks into a class anywhere, I don't care what kind of class it is, can learn something. I don't care who they are, you walk into class, you can learn something. So there's learning is good, learning is fun. All right, so we have these 4 sets. The one that I didn't cover, alligator playing in the water. We have push on the heel, right? Turning palm, toe, then heel. And we have hold the ball, toe, then heel, right? So next week, I'm going to continue this pattern on Thursday for Qigong. I'll cover the 1st through the 4th exercises. On Friday, I'll cover 5. I promise I'm going to cover 5 through 8. And we'll review that, and I'm going to add some more details, and we'll have a bit more time for practice. I want to put some of these concepts into written form so that I'm not spending as much time on the video with the concepts. There will be some times when it's going to be a talk video, and I'm not going to use this for that. So I thank you for coming, thank you for your patience, and I'll be back here at 7 a.m. on Monday for Tai Chi. See you then.